Keep moving with no reward inside, pretending time stops ticking. This lie has kept me wide awake at night, and it defies all reason. But I'll change directions. These expectations take it all from me. No more deceptions. I can't go on living a fantasy anymore. I can't go on living a fantasy. I can't go on living a fantasy anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, let's get ready for your fantasy football break. What's up, everybody?
Good evening, everyone.
Who we got on? Brandon's on. John Lockwood's on. Roger Castleman's on. Eric. We got two Erics on. Duke, Luke, Kyle, Ether, Austin, Sheet, Stephanie. How's everyone doing tonight? Welcome to the first My Fantasy Football
Yes, Steelers.
breaks. James Yates said, "Oh my God, Steelers."
Steeler Nation.
That's right. One of us is at least representing America with America's team.
And one is representing the best team.
So we're streaming tonight to the Geeking Game 2, just so everyone who hasn't jumped over to the new page for football sees what's going on, knows about what's going on, knows about the new page. So went ahead and streamed it there too, and so everyone can get a taste of what it's going to be about. James says my ex-wife looked like a Steeler.
I see Roger says terrible towel in the house. Like a Roger.
Eric said, "Go Pack, go." My uncle would be happy to see in the Steelers. Brandon says, "Tighten up." Who is everybody's favorite team?
See a Packer fan, see Titans.
Kyle says he's winning this year. He is in.
Got a Cowboy fan. Oh, jeez.
See, I knew I liked you, Eric.
Stephanie.
Stephanie said
You
to
picked
Jake-
her. I love it.
You picked her.
Love it. Lions.
All right, Leonard.
Seahawks.
Seahawks, Miami Dolphins, even though we suck. Brittany, I feel you there. 23 years
Yeah.
since
long
the Cowboys
time.
have been good.
Long time.
Supporting the new New Orleans Saints.
Oh,
Austin
Jason,
Chiefs.
Steel Curtain. Love it.
Kyle, the Texans. I can get behind the Texans as long as they're not playing the Cowboys.
I'm the same way. Got season tickets to the Texans.
Kyle, Ether, Texan. Roger, Colts.
Colts, I think, are going to have a great year.
I have to agree with that. I think the Colts, heck, they are arguably the best offensive line in the league. They got a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. T.Y. Hilton, I think, will have a good year.
Yep. Paris Campbell's going to have a great year, I think, if he stays injury-free. Great rookie running back.
Yeah, exciting. Even though Mac looked great behind that line, but that line also might make everyone look.
That's true. Mac's good.
So, we're going to talk a little bit about fantasy football. What is some of our tips, tricks? I know a lot of people have drafts coming up. I have another. I've only done one draft. I have another 4 drafts to go. 5 so far this year.
We have one Friday. I think some people in here tonight are in our draft Friday.
Yes, I think James Yates is in that one.
I see Brittany's in our draft Friday.
Aaron Krause. Well, if you don't want to go to the game, I'll take those tickets off of you. No.
I don't go to a lot of the games, so I'll keep you in mind, Aaron.
Wait, no. Hey, you won. Yeah, you know what? Brittany, you need to message her. I haven't seen Hey You Won on here, and I think she's I think she's in the draft for Friday. I think. Carissa?
Carissa, yeah. Yeah,
Carissa?
she's actually, her name's on the league, actually, so needs to be in here.
John Lockhart's never done one. Brittany says she'll be right back. She's gonna go message her. So I want to go over some. I know there's a lot of rookies who has never played fantasy football before. You've been playing what, 20 years?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years?
Yep.
You got a lot more time on me. Actually, you got me into fantasy.
Absolutely, yeah. I did.
You got me into my very first league. Then I think you regretted it because I won that year.
You did win. Rookies always win. I was telling Brittany and Chris of that. I said, you guys will probably win because rookies usually win.
Stephanie's never. There's Hey You Won.
There she is.
Kyle Luther says, my team is stacked, but Yahoo gave me a C. Kyle, never listen to Yahoo draft grades.
Yeah, their grades are never accurate.
Let me tell you something. If you want a good draft grade, easy tip to get a good draft grade. Draft 2 quarterbacks, draft 2 kickers, 2 defenses, 2 tight ends.
Which you never need.
If you want to win the whole league and win the Super Bowl, don't draft 2 quarterbacks, don't draft 2 tight ends, don't draft 2 kickers, don't draft 2 defense. That's my opinion.
You never need them. You never need them.
I mean, if you got a quarterback, in most of those positions, you can stream every week.
Right. Yeah, the defense I never keep for more than 1-2 weeks at the longest.
No, the only time I have 2 defenses on my team is if I'm at the end of the year, I'm going to the playoffs, and I'm stacking up defenses that I want to play during the playoffs, or maybe stacking teams that I don't want to play that defense in the playoffs.
Yep.
Throughout the year, I usually have 1, maybe sometimes 2, depending on the role I'm going into, but it's because I know this week I'm playing this one, next week I'm playing that one, and I'll drop the one I'm playing this week and pick up the following.
Looking at the schedules.
Yes, I'm always ahead of it. I have Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G. What do you think about those 2 quarterbacks?
I was in a mock draft last night, and Aaron Rodgers was my quarterback. I drafted him in the next to last round. My last pick over is always the defense. I pick defense very last. Rodgers was my next to last pick.
It's insane seeing Rodgers.
Yep.
Aaron got Mahomes and Tannehill. So let me give you guys a theory of. So first off, Aaron got Mahomes, which means he's going to took him somewhere probably first, second round, right?
Probably so.
That seems like the average on more of a non-professional league. If you're watching the pros on Yahoo or fantasy footballers, those guys never taken a quarterback. What's your thoughts? When would you take a quarterback?
You and I always differ in this. I always take quarterback 3rd, 4th round usually, because in my opinion, quarterbacks get you the most points as anybody else on your team. They're always the highest scorer. But if it's not one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks that I get in the 3rd or 4th round, then I don't take it till.
I usually will not take a quarterback until 10th round. Earliest I will take a quarterback, maybe depending if someone's fallen, the 6th round. Yeah, and I agree. Quarterbacks are by far the highest scorer. But the number 2 quarterback, and I say the number 2 because there's always one outlier, it seems like, of that number 1 guy, and you never know who it is. Everyone drafted Mahomes last year as he was going to be the number 1. It wasn't Mahomes. In fact, Mahomes finished like number 7 last year. Not number 1, not number 2, but he was drafted last year for the second round.
He was hurt and missed games.
So he did. He missed some games. But my point is the number 2 quarterback only scores maybe 60 points difference than the number 10 quarterback.
Right. But they will still score higher than number 1 running back.
It will. But the number 2 running back is going to score a whole lot more points than the number 10 running back.
True.
The spread between their own category, their own position, is so much deeper. I mean, sometimes you can be 200 points away in running backs from 2 to 10. That I rather grab that stud running back and grab a late round quarterback that's only going to score throughout the year maybe 60 points less. Other than, you like I said, you have that usually outlier, that number 1 guy, last year's Ravens quarterback. Okay, it was like 100
Well, that
points
was a
different.
fluke.
Yes, I have to agree. He's going to have regression. I don't. Who do you think to be the number 1 quarterback this year?
Honestly, I think Mahomes will be up there again. People are going to hate me for saying this, but I honestly think Tom Brady is going to have a heck of a year.
I can't disagree.
Tom Brady, I think, is going to light the league up this year. And I'm not a Tom Brady fan, as you can see. I'm wearing a Steelers shirt. I'm a huge Steelers fan, obviously, but Tom Brady is going to light the league on fire, I believe. He's got the offensive weapons to just take the league, go far.
John Smith says he waits for a quarterback as well.
I see a lot of questions on there. I saw someone ask earlier about CeeDee Lamb. So when the questions popped up, I think he's going to have a great year right from the start for the Cowboys. I think he's going to be in the slot, take Randall Cobb's position, have a lot of catches and a lot of yards right from
I'm going to disagree with you there. CeeDee Lamb will have a good football year. Will not, in my opinion, have a good fantasy football year.
Maybe so.
That's it to the point where I want to draft him. It's sort of like, I usually never, this year might be the first year I change that just because of some recent news. I never take a rookie wide receiver.
There's a couple this year I would take.
Who would you take rookie wide receivers?
Jerry Jeudy I would take.
Okay.
There's a guy from the Redskins I would also take. Actually, a couple from the Redskins I would take, I think. Antonio Golden Gandy, late, if I took him. Pittman for the Colts. Pittman Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I want to take Hamlin from the Broncos, Penn State guy.
Okay.
Because he's from Penn State. And there's a couple other ones out there. Who are you thinking your rookie?
The only rookie receiver. Now, I love rookie running backs. Let me make that clear. I will take a rookie running back in a second. Stats. I'm a numbers guy. The best rookie wide receiver of like all times was Ridley, and he was like top 30. As a rookie, and he was the best rookie of all time. But Henry Ruggs for the Raiders. And the only reason is Williams just got put onto IR.
Yep.
They have nobody to throw to other than their tight end. Someone has to catch the ball.
They have 2 good rookie receivers.
Now, I'm scared of Ruggs, though, because Ruggs is more of a deep threat. He's a speedster, and their quarterback doesn't throw the ball downfield that well.
Yeah, Bowden Jr. from Kentucky.
All right, we get some disagreements with you on Tom Brady. I'm going to actually have to back you up on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Think about this. Tom Brady's going to a worse team. Worse teams does not mean worse fantasy.
Yeah.
I mean, think about some of the receivers, some of the Browns. Josh Gordon, one of the greatest fantasy receivers of all time.
His points are crazy.
Crazy points in fantasy because the Browns sucked.
They're playing from behind all the time. That's what you got to think about. You don't have to be a good team to score fantasy points.
Absolutely not. They would just chunk the ball because they were always behind. Now, I am not a Brady fan. I'm not a Brady fan. In fact, I do not like Brady at all. But I'm going to have to tell you, Brady, in my opinion, is top 5, and I could see him end up as the number 1 because he's playing for a worse team, defensive-wise. They can't stop the ball. They have to play better teams. The Patriots played Miami twice.
Yep.
Horrible. Played the Jets twice. Horrible. Played the Bills twice. Horrible. So they were ahead, so they could run the ball. They didn't have to throw the ball. Look about Winston, Jameis Winston. Horrible quarterback.
Exactly.
Number 3 quarterback last year for in most leagues in fantasy football. Threw a ton of picks. Still was the 3rd highest scoring quarterback in the league for fantasy because he was always playing behind, had to chunk the ball, had 2 great wide receivers, a really good tight end. They still got 2 great wide receivers. Now they got 2 great tight ends.
Gronk.
and still have a horrible defense and no running game. They have to throw the ball.
Yeah, I think Brady's going to really light it up.
Logan, I agree. Joe Montana's still the GOAT.
I agree with you there. Absolutely. I've been a Montana fan forever, so
Brady,
I agree with you there, Logan.
Brady is a GOAT for his generation. He didn't have to play with the same rules as Joe Montana had to play with. Jason says, roll Tide. Kyle Ether says, I have the best kicker.
Who's your kicker?
Yeah, who's your kicker? I couldn't even give you a guess who's going to be the best kicker. I mean,
I don't know. I saw today that talking about Brady and the Bucks, they picked up a new kicker. They got rid of
kickers are just so hard
Yeah.
to rate. Picked up Tua today for some trade bait. Tua still might not even play the first game. Here's my, other than holding a quarterback, I'd rather take a running back or a receiver that I think has the potential to break out and me end up playing on a week to week that I think eventually I can put him in my lineup, and as long as he's not in a bye week because he broke out, I'm playing him every week. And a quarterback is usually not going to be there.
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker's not a bad kicker. And I think there's a handful kickers. I'm usually looking for a guy that's a team that can't necessarily get across the red zone, but can get it down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how your team scores, some teams give bonus points for 40-yard, 50 yards,
over 50. One thing I always look for in a kicker, just personally, is I always go for a dome kicker. Half their games are going to be inside, so weather's not going to affect them. And a lot of the teams, like in the NFC North, for example, they kick. Their opposing teams are in domes as well, so they play a lot of their games in dome. Minnesota plays in Detroit. They play in Green Bay and Soldier Field too, which is but a lot of dome games there.
I trade my kicker out every week.
Jason Coggin needs that Amari Cooper. He said that a few times now.
Need the Amari Cooper, another Alabama boy. We actually going to give away a NFL Pop tonight, and we're going to let you pick. And one of the choices will be Amari Cooper. So Nick Folks might be the Pat's new kicker. There's usually high in points.
Yes,
that is very true.
All the Pats kickers have been great.
That is very true. So what's some of the things you do to prepare for a draft? What do you look for?
I live on fantasy channels. I look at ESPN, ESPN Plus, just the NFL Network. I mean, I study them all the time. My wife's crazy. If you listen, Teresa, sorry. But I live on there. I get up every morning before the game for the weekends. I just study. And you do the same thing. I know
do.
when you and I work together, we are always watching the same stuff together. But
Yeah, when I'm working, I'm listening. It's some
Same.
kind of podcast. Someone talk, get everybody's opinion, why they feel what way, and do I agree or disagree? And I that's definitely helped me in my career. I mean, I haven't done it as nearly as long as you, but I've been playing fantasy for now 10 years, average 4 leagues a year, and in the Super Bowl 30%, 40% of the time. I've only missed the playoffs once. So there's a lot of good advice out there.
Oh, yeah.
Who's some of your favorite to watch out there?
I like the podcast on ESPN Plus. It's Matt. There's 3 guys and a girl. It's Matt, Danielle, or Danny, and the other name. It's a podcast on ESPN Plus. I just love their setup. Is really, of course, the NFL Network with all the guys on.
One of my favorite while I'm working, if I'm doing something tedious, is Fantasy Footballers. They have a podcast, but I listen to them on YouTube because they're just entertaining and full of good information. So you usually get a good laugh and you're getting good input. When you're constructing a team, what are some of the things? How do you like to construct your team?
I always try to get solid running back first. That's always my first pick. Try to base my team on running back.
John Smith agrees with us. Fantasy Footballers, they're a good group.
Running back if I can, or if not, I like to go balance. If I get a great running back and a great receiver, that's ideal for me.
Okay.
How about you?
First thing I like to do, I think everyone should do, read your scoring. How does your league score? because there's all different ways you
Oh
can't
yeah,
score.
there's crazy scoring.
Besides PPR and standard, which is kind of common,
Yep.
a lot of people like to do bonus points, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are. I'm forgetting. A lot of people are new to this, and I'm just used to standard setup. So there's crazy scoring.
yeah, there's PPR, which means every time someone catches the ball,
Brian just said their quarterback receiver combo for double points. I mean that's
yeah, well, double points for that. I've seen stuff. Well, if you got over 100 yards running, you get an extra point. If you get 200 yards running, it's all of a sudden 20 extra points. Is it $100 or 100 yards receiving?
you get points.
You get points. So then there's leagues that there's no bonus points for anything.
Right.
So look at your scoring. How is it scored? Really depends on me. Brandon says depends on the pick. I do agree, depending on the pick, depending on where I am, and who I like. But in a perfect world for me, the way I'm going to walk about and be extremely happy is if I can go running back, running back, running back. I'm going to go 3 running backs in a row if there is a flex position, which I normally play in leagues that have a
I
flex.
think almost every league. It seems to be.
So that's it. And I'm looking for a 3-down back that also catches the ball. That's going to be extremely hard to do this year in any league. If I'm not going running back, I agree with you. Trying to do a balance. Can I get a stud running back with a stud wide receiver?
It's always been my
And
philosophy.
if I'm going that way, maybe or try to take. I could see this year though going wide receiver stronger because of the lack.
A lot of mocks I've been, people are taking receiver. So
There seems to be a lack of. There's usually it seems like a lot more top end receivers past years than top end running backs.
Mhm.
This year, you got Thomas from the Saints. He's your clear cut number 1, I think, wide receiver.
Yep.
And then you start getting even shaky right after the number 1. I would put Adams up there with Green Bay.
yeah,
Personally.
because Julio Jones, he's great, but Calvin Ridley's right there with him. Is he a clear number 1?
Calvin Ridley seems like he's getting close to surpassing.
He
Julio
is.
Jones is getting at that age where they usually start declining.
They have him ranked high, but man, Calvin Ridley scares me. He's moving in.
And Julio Jones, every single year, the last couple of years, gets yards, but he can't seem to get touchdowns.
He's not getting in the end zone.
Doesn't get in the end zone. So if I could pair, if I'm later in the draft, if I'm in spot 9, spot 8, spot 10, the top running backs are gone, most likely,
Absolutely.
unless people went after quarterbacks early. Then I would consider taking Thomas and rolling right back around on the next one if I could, and taking Adams.
Want that.
Or maybe even, what do you think Hopkins is going to do?
That's scary. I'm still not sold on Kyler Murray. Not sold on him. I don't think he's going to do anything like he did with Watson. Really don't.
Brian thinks Metcalf will be a big
I
year.
agree. I think him and Lockett are going to have big years.
See, I think Lockett's the beast. Is going to be the beast there.
I think they both will be. So I think Lockett's going to be. I think Lockett and Metcalf are going to be sort of like Antonio Brown, of course, we Steelers. But I think Antonio Brown and Juju. I think Lockett's going to get the double coverage. I think Metcalf is going to get all the yards like Juju did the last year with Antonio Brown.
Kyle Ether, I love Alvin Kamara as long as he doesn't hold out.
Yeah, it scares me on Alvin Kamara right now. I think he's going to hold out.
But he just said he's going to show back up to the team, I think, Wednesday.
He said he's not going to hold out, but I just think that money's going to draw. He wants McCaffrey money, and I'm not sure if he's worth McCaffrey money, to be honest.
Eric wants to know where do we think Fournette?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
I liked Fournette. I'm surprised somebody didn't pick him up.
Jeez, I got Ray Finkel. Oh, yeah, places were out.
Einhorn and Finkel. Einhorn and Finkel.
Where do you think Fournette's going to land?
I don't know. I'm not sure who really needs a running back that bad. I mean,
They did him dirty.
you know who I could see, and he probably has the clout to get his team to pick him up, would be Tom Brady could talk the Bucks into picking up Fournette. They don't have a back.
They do not have a back. That way they got Rojo over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
they
Peyton, Peyton
No,
was
he's
not
gone.
even there anymore. So yeah, they don't really have anybody.
he could go there, but Tom Brady likes a running back that can catch the ball,
Sure.
and he cannot catch the ball.
Yeah.
Personally, Fournette, I'm not as high on, so I don't care probably where he goes because I don't want anything to do with him. As long as he doesn't go to a team.
In the NFC East.
Well, I just don't want him to go to a team that screws up a good running back. You know that
It's a good call, John Smith. Washington or New England. I could see New England grabbing him.
Yeah. Washington is hurting. All they have basically in their stables is Adrian Peterson and the rookie running back. Was it
Gurley
Cobbs?
plays for Atlanta now.
Then they get Atlanta. Gurley went to Atlanta, which I think Gurley's going to do good in Atlanta.
He's going to get a lot of touches. I just read something the other day. They expect him to get 25 touches again. That's impressive for Atlanta because they took the ball 90% of the time. So
Kylie's going to Houston. He ain't going to Houston. They just got David Johnson.
yeah, they only gave up Hopkins for him.
You
so.
know, which is sad. We were talking about the number one quarter receiver for fantasy. But if I was to say who's the number one receiver in the NFL, Hopkins.
Yeah, by far used to be.
But I can't put him above Thomas.
No.
Because he's playing for I agree with you on a quarterback that I don't trust yet.
Yep.
He could have a great year. He has the potential, I think, to have a really good year. I could see him going either way, and I don't know which. I think I'm leaning more towards he's going to have a really good year just because of his mobility.
He's got the hands, even though we called him Dropkins for the first 2 years, years of his career here in Houston, and then he just went crazy.
Todd Gurley is my second running back.
He's great.
I think
I would draft him easy as my second running back. I'd be glad to have him as my second.
as long as they use him. That's the key on Todd Gurley is that type of running back that the more you use him, the better he gets. But Atlanta's talking like they're going to use him.
A lot, yeah.
And he's the prototypical running back for Atlanta. Guy who can catch the ball. He's a lot like Devontae Freeman. So I could see Gurley. He's one of those big names that's dropped way down. Gurley and David Johnson, I actually like both of them this year. Where I would take them before Fournette. I would take them before Bell. What is the worst case?
That is the worst case. Good for you, Jason. I'm glad you saw that.
With a lot of quarterback changes in the league, I like to see how a year's going to be. There has been some changes, but I'm excited about some of the quarterbacks. Quarterback's pretty easy for fantasy because, I mean, I've won many Super Bowls where I didn't have the same quarterback week to week. Like, whatever quarterback I'm playing this week, I'm dropping, and I'm picking someone else up next week just because they were going to play a team like the Browns.
Yep.
You know, they were going to play a bad team.
Strength of schedule is something very important for you to keep in mind when you're drafting.
Who should I play, Rodgers or Jimmy G?
Like I said, depending who they're playing.
Depending on, I believe Rodgers is playing the Vikings in week 1. I do not remember off the top of my head who the 49ers are playing.
I don't remember either, but I know the Niners have like 3 of the receivers injured right now, so I'm not sure when they're coming back. But keep that in mind. They are hurting at their wide receivers. I know Devo's hurt. The rookie is hurt. Someone else just recently went on the injury list, so keep that in mind if you're starting Jimmy G.
I think, though, the Vikings could potentially have the number one this year. They just took an all-star in from Jacksonville. They already had a pretty damn good defense as it was. A lot of the other defenses that are the top defenses have injuries. And when I say that, I mean like true defense. Because like Patriots looked like the greatest defense ever last year. But they were playing Miami twice, the Jets twice, the Bills twice.
That's like the Texans winning their division. That's not saying much. Sorry, Texans fans.
AJ Brown,
partially too.
What round you think?
I like AJ Brown.
I'm going to take him in the mid rounds. I think I'm not chasing AJ Brown.
I would not chase him, but he's a good pick. He's a solid pick.
You know, he's the go-to guy if they're going to throw the ball. They are a run-first team.
Yep, Derrick Henry, and they just released that Derrick Henry now is all of a sudden miraculously a catcher.
Kalasi, I wouldn't have two defenses. I would drop one, pick a guy that's all on the waiver wire that you think that could turn out to be a stud, because you're most likely going to change your defense every week. I mean, just for instance, if Baltimore was playing the Kansas City this week, and Seattle was playing
New Orleans
this week, you don't want to play either one of those defenses. You play your defense depending on who they're playing against. You change them every week.
Yeah, if they're playing high-scoring teams that score like Mahomes and the Chiefs, you don't want to play them against them.
I don't care how good your defense is. They're not going to score a lot of points going against Patrick Mahomes. And I will tell you, they're not. I wouldn't want to play any team. I'm going to sound like a homer here. I would not want to play any defense this year playing against the Cowboys.
How do you get points where you pick a coach? I'm curious on that. I've never played in a league where you pick a coach. Eric?
Yeah, how do you score the coach? I've never heard of a league where you pick a coach and they get points.
And Brandon Whitson, I have Henry in one of my leagues that I just drafted too. I think Henry is going to be one of the top scorers as a running back, personally.
Yeah, Henry's he's a beast. And it's a run-first team. That's a running back that I'm going to feel really good about on my team. On my team.
Which gets the win or loss. That's just it. It's the win or loss.
Braining also agrees streaming defense works better. So I will stream defenses, kickers, tight ends, depending on if a good tight end dropped or not. And I will stream quarterbacks depending on if a good quarterback dropped down. I mean, would you believe the Bills quarterback, which most people aren't drafting, or if they are, it's
Josh
late.
Allen?
Josh Allen was like the number 6 quarterback in fantasy last year.
He had to run for his life every.
He ran,
game.
yeah. There's no reason to pay high end for a quarterback.
He was still left in 2 drafts I was in. He didn't get drafted at all.
And he's not going to go win the Super Bowl, but he could help you win your fantasy league. You have to, for you rookies out there to fantasy football, you have to separate real football and fantasy football.
I like Kyle.
What do you call it? Good thing the Cowboys don't have Jason Garrett, because we will
Get points for clapping.
Yeah, you know what? I am very thankful that the Clapper is now a New York Giant.
Start Jordan Howard or Kerryon Johnson in the flex week.
Jordan Howard or Kerryon Johnson?
Jordan Howard to the Dolphins now. Kerryon Johnson. I'm not sure if he's going to get most of the carries or if Swift is going to get the carries.
Swift is injured and just started running. I would play Kerryon Johnson. I think he's going to get almost, at least the beginning of the year, he's going to get all the touches. Now, Swift could come back, but I think Swift's going to end up being a scat back.
Yeah.
So, for the least week one, me personally, Kerryon Johnson.
I agree. Josh Allen was a steal last year. He was a steal for sure.
Everybody who had Josh Allen on their team picked him up off the waiver wire.
Oh yeah,
nobody. No one drafted.
Maybe
Josh
a Bills fan drafted him.
Yeah,
but
nobody in their right mind drafted Josh Allen.
Singletary, I thought I drafted in one of my leagues, and then I see breaking out news yesterday saying that he is having all kinds of fumble issues in practice. So I don't know. Zach Moss, the rookie, that said maybe taking his place, which was just rumor, but I'm sort of skeptical now on Singletary.
He says Howard has the goal line. Howard will have the goal line, but they got to get to the goal line. Fitzpatrick looks like is going to start the year, and I'd rather have Matt Stafford for the Lions, with a great receiver. They can score points. And Kerryon Johnson's also getting their goal line. Every Kerryon Johnson gets the name. We were talking about the Bears running back. I like his talent. I don't like the Bears. They can't move the ball.
I'm surprised. I thought Trubisky would be better by now.
Trubisky can't get the ball down. They can't move the ball. And if your quarterback is that bad, what does your defense do? Stack the box.
Yeah, that's all they're going to do.
If you're going to, so I don't like a running back that has to play against a stack. I mean, look at it. We were talking about this earlier. Look at Bell. Bell has a lot of talent.
Yep.
He was, number one, and it was always one of the top running backs that you drafted. Bell leaves the Steelers, one of the great offensive lines, goes to the Jets, one of the horrible offensive line, no quarterback, no receiver. What does everyone do? They stack the box. Bell has super talent, but super talent, let's remember, these are NFL players. That defense has super talent too. That's why they're in the NFL.
That's right.
All of a sudden, Bell don't look that great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that running back's any better than Bell, and he's going to be playing against stacked boxes.
Exactly. See, we got a Kansas singer over here. John Smith is Jason was singing the Kansas song there. Carry On My Wayward Son. Anybody caught that or not?
A couple things I like to look at before a draft. Rookies. Not rookies, I'm sorry. Contract years.
Yes.
What players are going into a contract year because they seem to play harder? They're playing for a raise. They're playing for that new contract. The better they play that year, the bigger their contract's going. Right? Now, doesn't mean I'm going to take some no-name guy that's on a contract that's playing for a contract
It's got to
year.
be the big stars in the team.
But I'm looking at contract years, and I'm looking at strength of schedule.
Strength of schedule is one of the biggest things.
I mean, if I can find a guy that's in a contract year, say, for instance, he's a running back, has a strength of schedule that's good for a running back, I'm going after that guy.
Right. Yeah, he's got to.
He's running
He
harder.
wants to earn his paycheck.
He wasn't running. He's running harder on easier teams. Watson is going to be good this year. You know, Watson is a great quarterback.
He is. He is.
Who's he going to throw the ball to?
He's got good receivers, but unfortunately, I don't think they're going to last.
None of the receivers. Brandon Cooks is gone. He changes teams every single year. There's a reason for that.
He's one concussion away from being a can of vegetable soup.
You have
Will Fuller can't play more than 3 games. He's hurt for 10 weeks.
I mean, I could see the number one pass catcher for the Texans this year be David Johnson.
I can see that. Or their tight end, and he's going to get 3 yards play on the Texans offense. So
I love Watson.
I do too. I just feel horrible for him. He's a great guy. He's just...
Put Watson in Tampa. Put Watson on the Cowboys, and I'm chasing Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Chasing Watson, but what's the team he has around him?
Pick in the draft coming up. If McCaffrey's not taken out, should Barkley? Yes.
Barkley.
Absolutely. I would
Coming
take
from a Cowboys fan,
I would
Barkley.
take Saquon first. Actually, I just love Barkley. But yeah, it's hard to take him over McCaffrey, but I love Barkley.
The odds are, too, though, whoever usually finishes number one for their
Watson
position.
was good until he met Bama. Didn't Watson beat Bama?
Remember. I keep in mind that the number one, whoever finished number one as a running back, quarterback, or whatever last year, they never usually finish the next year as the number one guy.
No.
So McCaffrey was the number one running back last year, points wise. Odds tell you, history. I love numbers. History tells us he will not be the number one guy this year. Now, will he be a top 5? Yeah, I'm going to say top 5. But I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm taking Barkley over Zeke. The guy is a beast. He reminds me of, why can't I think of his name? Lions.
Barry Sanders?
Barry Sanders. The guy's a ping pong ball. Doesn't need anybody blocking for him. He gets incredible hands. They're going to have to throw the ball. The team's still not going to be good. I'm taking him all day long over Zeke.
I love him. It's funny because I remember when he was coming out of Penn State, my school, my team. You and I had an argument because you said Barkley's not going to do anything. He's going to a team with no fullback. He won't do anything.
I didn't think
And
the
I was
first
like,
year.
You watch. This kid's going to be phenomenal.
First year, usually pass catching running backs sometimes take a stutter look at Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon, the first year, didn't do great. Second year was phenomenal. But I was wrong about he was a stud the very first year, and I will tell you he is one of my favorite players to watch
Barkley's
on Sunday.
He's a hardworking kid. He's a great person.
Hate the Giants. Love Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley's a great person. Who's on Madden? Don't pick that person. Yeah, the Madden curse. I think it's Mahomes. Or was that last year?
No, it's Ravens quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Jackson Mahomes last year. Well, good, because I
Jets.
hate the Ravens, so I'm glad Lamar's on there.
Lamar is on the cover.
I got Barkley and Aaron Jones. That's two stacked running backs. The receivers, Galladay, Robinson, and Keenan Allen.
Problem with Aaron Jones, though, it doesn't seem like the coach will use him. He's just
They do
awesome.
until it gets to the goal line, and then Williams gets the touchdowns, it seems like.
Dude, he's so much better than Williams.
He is.
Aaron,
But Williams
he's a
gets every
beast. He is a beast. He runs hard. He knocks people over. He does one of my favorite things as a running back. When I watch running backs looking for a player, I'm looking for a guy that when he gets tackled, he always falls forwards.
I like Brian. Yes,
Always
hate the
falls
Ravens.
forward.
Absolutely. They're an ugly bird. I hate the Ravens.
What other questions do we have here?
I have one comment for the newbies who never played. One thing when you're drafting, very important, this is one of the just basic tips, is watch your bye weeks. You don't want to draft two running backs or two receivers that have the same bye week. And when it comes to week 5, both of your stud running backs or your stud receivers are both off. I still do that. I've been playing this for 22, 23 years, and sometimes I just forget or don't pay attention. So I'm so excited because that guy is still left, and I grab him, and then I realize, oh crap, both my receivers are off the same week 9 or whatever.
My first draft this year, it seems like everybody's in like 3 weeks, and I want to go back and look when everybody's bye weeks. Because
They're weird this year.
I feel like because of coronavirus, like they shoved them into a lot fewer weeks.
Instead of like 2
So,
or 3 teams or 4 teams, they're like 9 teams in 1 week.
I'm
or
telling
something.
you, it was, and especially like, so I'm a little weird. Being a Cowboys fan, I tried not to grab Cowboys because I feel like a homer playing the Cowboys, unless it's just a stud. And I also tried not to play any Eagles, Giants, or Washington football team.
Playing against your team.
Because I don't want to root for them
I hear
unless
ya.
it's a stud. But this year, my first team, I got a bunch of Cowboys because they just kept dropping, and the value was so good that I couldn't pass up. I mean, I got there was 5 quarterbacks drafted before Dak Prescott, and I took him in the 6th round. Quarterbacks are going quick in that league. I would rate Dak Prescott. I'm putting him top 3 this
I
year.
could see that. Top 5 for sure, absolutely.
Top 5 easily.
Easily, yep.
I mean, he has 2 receivers that are coming back that both got over 1,000 yards last year. He almost threw for 5,000 yards last year. Their defense looks like they might be better, but we also said that last year, and they were atrocious.
When you say
So
they don't have a defense is when they do well. When they say their defense is good, they perform.
They had to throw the ball a lot. They have a tight end that's starting to show up. They've got a rookie receiver that's everybody's estimating is going to be stellar in the league.
I think he's going to do good, very good. I think
And-
Lamb will do good. And a tight end is my sleeper, actually.
Yeah, I think he's a great choice for a sleeper.
I think Jarwin is going to be a great.
And a running back that catches the ball.
Yeah.
Which counts for your quarterback.
Exactly. That's another thing I used to always tell people too is just a little thing. Don't pick teams with your heart. Just don't go draft. If you're a Dolphins fan or a Colts fan, don't pick all Colts or don't pick all Dolphins.
Don't pick off a base of just name.
Right.
Don't pick off a name. Do some research on the numbers. I mean, again, like Jacksonville's had some stud fantasy players in the past. They haven't been good in a long time.
That's right.
But the receivers have been stud for fantasy. We call them garbage time points.
Yep.
They already know they're losing the game. They're just trying like hell just to keep throwing the ball, trying to catch up. Well, your fantasy team does not care if they win or lose the game.
That's right.
Every time that receiver catches the ball, it's points for you. If they win or lose the game, it doesn't matter.
Like Jameis Winston's a perfect example of it. All his points came in garbage points.
Absolutely. What's a surprise team you think to this?
Well, the Bucks, obviously.
Bucks.
The Bucks. I think they're going to go
Who's
deep in the playoffs.
who's the number 1 receiver for the Bucks this year?
Godwin?
I'm gonna agree with that one.
Out of
Godwin.
Penn State. Woo! We are.
Godwin. I'm gonna go with Godwin, even though Godwin's still being taken second.
Mike Evans, they still ranked really high, and I think Godwin will be over. I think he'll outperform him by far.
Absolutely. Who's some undervalued people seeing drafted late?
There's a lot of undervalued people left. Quarterback wise, like we're talking about Josh Allen, he's going to score a ton of points in the quarterback position. He's not even getting drafted or going so far. Someone has Evans, Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans. He's not. Don't get us wrong. Mike Evans is still going to have a great year.
Yeah,
I just think his counterpart's going to have a better year.
yeah. I think Godwin's going to outperform him. Yeah, exactly. He is going to get the doubles.
Exactly.
Gronk, and they still have OJ Howard too, who's beast as a tight end.
Rumors is Gronk is not going to play much.
Don't think so.
I've read some reports. I mean, and guys, man, it's hard to get any information
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
hard right now.
There's no like news channels out on the sideline. There's no preseason games, but I'm guessing that the reports I've read is they're gonna use him in special situation, goal line situations, limited snaps. I'm guessing the reports are right because he's like half the size that he was. He is not the same Gronk. He was hurting so much by the end, but I mean, he has shrunk size wise. I don't know if his body could even last.
You need a lot
like
of Tide
it
Pods.
was.
He's not the smartest guy. I read a thing though just about him that said that their coach said that he is better shape than he was in 2016 or whatever when they were phenomenal. And he's doing great. He's going to play a lot. So
Who knows?
exactly.
But I personally, I'm saying with Gronk too, just because you're right. They have OJ Howard. OJ Howard's great.
He's
tight end.
great. Yeah.
I mean, unless they're going to play a whole lot of sets with two tight ends, which it could since they have no running back.
Other undervalued, I think you have a couple leagues that you showed me. I think Connor from Steelers is undervalued.
Connor?
He's dropping far. I think he's going to do good. I mean, now that Ben's back and they're throwing the ball, I think he can catch the
Well,
ball.
wasn't Juju hurt some too last year?
Yeah.
Juju was hurt. Ben Roethlisberger was hurt. He got hurt. Like that, it was just a devastating year
It
for
was.
the Steelers.
Yep. Yeah, everybody was down, and they went through every quarterback. They had 3 different quarterbacks, and nobody performed anything.
I am not a Steelers fan, but I respect the Steelers franchise. And one of the things that I can say about the Steelers is they are really good, also like the Patriots, getting rid of players sooner rather than later. So in my eyes, if the Steelers are saying Connor's still our guy, then I trust Connor because the Steelers trust
They see
Connor.
something in him, absolutely. I mean, everybody laughed. I mean, I was heartbroken at first, but everybody laughed when the Steelers got rid of Antonio Brown for a 3rd and a 5th round pick. And look what happened. They saw something coming.
I was pissed because we gave a 1st round pick for Amari Cooper, and I was just cursing the Cowboys.
Look how
It was
good
like,
he
you
is.
could have had Antonio Brown for nothing?
Yep.
And now I'm like, oh, thank you. You didn't get
I was so
Antonio
upset.
Brown.
Everybody was laughing, and then look what he did. He went on the clown show.
You absolutely. You know what? I'm not a Steelers fan, but you have to respect the Steelers, the
I
franchise.
don't know how the Steelers are dirty players. I don't never saw honestly anybody dirty for this.
Hey,
I'm a Steeler fan, but
You know what? You do what you have to do to win. That's
I
what it's like the Saints. They
had
won
some-
one
they had
Super
some
Bowl.
incredible hits, but they weren't usually too dirty.
The Saints were dirty in their Super Bowl run, hitting quarterbacks after the whistle.
Yeah,
But
Steelers got some dirty hits by the Bengals on them. That's for sure. It's perfect.
what other questions do you guys have for us? Players who
Players.
Yes, I'm guessing you're talking about like if a player got hurt, had a down year. I've actually, I'll give you for instance Amari Cooper. I had last year. I had Amari Cooper the year before. The year before, Amari Cooper was kind of up and down, and I made it to the Super Bowl. I played Amari Cooper. He didn't catch one damn ball all game.
And you only needed that. You only needed like
If
what,
you
a
would have
fraction
caught
of a
one
point?
ball, just one ball, I would have won the Super Bowl. And he didn't catch one ball all game.
I remember
I
that.
still had him last year, and I won the Super Bowl last year.
I agree with you, John Smith, on 2 things. Paul Malu was one of my all-time favorite current Steelers, well, somewhat current Steelers. Him and Heinz Ward. I grew up watching the Steelers in the 70s, so that's my age. And I agree that Poor Favre, that was a brutal game. I remember you and I talked about that game. We picked on one of our coworkers who was a Saints fan. That was a brutal game. Favre got beat up.
One of the underrated, I think, is Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely.
Everybody's talking about Woods. Cooper Kupp was like the number 3 receiver last year in all of fantasy.
Yep.
He is a little banged up right now, so I can see that bringing him down. But he's fallen. But it's like people just like have forgotten almost about him. He was a stud.
Yep. A lot of people don't like Goff. That's one of the reasons too. People
People don't
him.
like Goff. They don't really have a running game right now.
They don't. I think the rookie running back is going to be good. I think Cam Akers will be good.
Someone has to be, right? I mean, it's too good of a team for them not to have a good running
Yeah.
back.
They drafted somebody last year. I don't remember who it was, and supposedly their coach loved him. He was going to be the next big back. And
How do you feel about rookie running back Chiefs?
from LSU,
He's
Edwards-Helaire.
he is going in
They are
first round, and a lot
Every
of times
draft.
the top in every draft. And I'm not even talking about most of the time he's in like the top of the first round, not even the back half of the first round. How do you feel about that?
I think he's going to do good there. I think because Mahomes is going to take the pressure off him. He's a beast of a back.
Yes.
He's a little wrecking ball. I think he's going to do good.
And I agree. Like I'm on the fence on this because guys looks like he's a beast. I like to look at tradition. Chiefs always have a stud running back.
Always.
They always can find a guy who's they always have a 3-down back.
Yep.
He can always run the ball and catch the ball. Always.
Yeah. He's
So-
with a team that's already set, and he has no pressure on him.
They're going to score a lot of points. They can move the ball, but I hate taking a rookie quarterback that early.
Yep.
Hate it because he's never proven anything in the NFL.
It's true.
Like I usually won't take a rookie running back until third round. So that scares me. Would you take him over, say, Cooks for the Vikings? There's rumors he might hold out.
Well, that's what I was going to say. For the only reason that Cook may hold out because of his contract, I might take Edwards-Helaire over that.
You might take him over that. Would you take him over Saints running back, Mara?
Same reason.
Same
It's a
reason.
Contract. I would take.
Contract.
I might take Murray over Kamara right now. Latavius Murray.
Okay, so you're shying away from Kamara.
I really am. I think Kamara's a scary picker.
Would you take him over some of the other back half first Titans running back, Henry?
No, I would take Murray as my third running back.
You would take Murray
I would
over
take-
Kamara.
Yep, McCaffrey,
Remember that.
Barkley, and Murray. are three running backs.
Okay. So what about Browns running back? You would take the rookie over the Browns running back?
Over Chubb?
Yep.
Yeah, he's not even on my radar. I would shy away from him.
Why is that?
I'm not a fan of him. I just don't think he's going to do it this year.
Kyle either said never trust a running back or a Cowboy fan. See, I would take of course CMC over. I would take Kamara over him. I would take Zeke over him. I would take Barkley
I'd take
over him.
Zeke over him.
And I would take Cook over him. And I would consider taking Henry over him. Chubb, I like Chubb.
I think Henry's going to light it on fire. I saw a question about Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen's going to put up a lot of numbers this year. I think their quarterback is going to do very well. And Mike Williams is hurt. I'm not sure how bad he's hurt, but I know he's hurt.
How do you like the Cowboys coach? I always joke with, I live in Houston, so of course there's a lot of Texan fans here, and Texan fans like to give me a lot of hell because Texan fans, for some reason, feel like the Texans and the Cowboys are in some kind of rivalry. But it's a very one-sided rivalry because most Cowboy fans are Texan fans. Like if you go to a Cowboy game and the Texans are doing good, everyone cheers. Like, it's a Texas team. We want the Texans to do good. You go to a Texan game and the Cowboys are doing good, everyone boos. Like, I cheer for the Texans as long as they're not playing the Cowboys. Rivalry is your division, right? Like, the Cowboys' rivalry is the Giants, not the Texans. They're the Washington football team. They're the Eagles.
Little brother complex.
They're not. Those are the rivalry. But if any team was a rivalry to the Cowboys that wasn't in their division, it would be Green Bay. Because Green Bay are the Steelers.
Because
the Steelers.
49ers.
I was like Steelers because they have one more Super Bowl win than us. But Green Bay's the one who keeps knocking them out of the playoffs the few times they've made it. So I like that he at least beat my Cowboys. I think he did get a little. I think the NFL. I like the way it's going with the younger coaches coming up with new ideas, but he seems to have said, "I realize the game has kind of moved on, and I'm willing to listen and learn." He has a young, open-minded offensive coordinator, and I respect that he's willing to do that. So he could bring that old school of bringing a team together, but still bring that young offensive mind there. I think he could be really good for the Cowboys. I'm hoping, because same time the Green Bay only won one Super Bowl under him. Green Bay was always in the playoffs. At the end of the day, it's Super Bowl or bust.
Exactly. Yeah, McCarthy's a great coach. I liked him in Green Bay. He just seems like a class act.
Patriots have 6-2. Yes, they do.
6.
But the Steelers don't have as many asterisks over their
That's
wins.
true. No deflated balls.
They don't have as many
no
asterisks.
tuck roll. Nothing like that.
No filming.
Like you were talking about the Cowboys and the Texans. Steelers and Eagles are the same way. Pittsburgh will gladly root for the Eagles. Eagles would rather burn Pittsburgh down than ever.
Yeah,
Philadelphia will never root for the Steelers. Ever. It's just crazy how that is.
I mean, anybody has to be better than the Clapper.
Sure.
Anybody has to be better than him.
I'm not
so
sure what he had on Jerry Jones.
I'm happy
As
just
long
because
as he did.
it's. I would be happy anybody like who's South Park, the little poo guy. I would have been
Mr. Hankey?
Mr. Hankey. I would have been happy with Mr. Hankey, just because it wasn't the Clapper.
Oh, here we go. Well,
Who else are you liking this year?
as in what position or
And
teams?
positions. Who else? Who's some later round gems you like?
Eight around gems. One of the guys I think is going to do well, I see was not drafted by anybody, was Stephon Diggs for the Bills.
Like him?
Yeah. I think Josh Allen needs somebody to throw to.
I love Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Allen can throw the ball that much.
Kirk Cousins wasn't much better.
See, I think Kirk Cousins is underrated.
So,
But I can see. I mean, he's the number one guy, right? So if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be
he's got a
him.
chance. I think he's Bengals. Anybody worth drafting? I think Mixon.
Mixon all day long, all day long. And are you taking AJ Green or are you taking the other side?
Tyler Boyd. That's a good question. Boy, I don't know which one to be double covered.
Who would you
Is the
draft?
quarterback going to be good?
If you had to draft one before the other, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, which one do you?
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd.
AJ Green will be hurt and again.
We haven't seen him in a year.
2
He's
years.
just now 2 years. He's just now starting to run.
Ooh,
So
that's a good
late
question.
round.
Kittle or Kelsey? That's a great question, Brandon. Personally, I would take Kittle right now just because of the fact that all the receivers are hurt. So Kittle's going to get a lot of balls thrown his way. And Chiefs has so many other weapons, too, to throw to.
Sometimes
Both
that
of them are studs.
sometimes that opens the
Tight
lane up
end,
for you,
yeah,
though.
that's true.
But I'm going to have to agree with you for the same reasons. I'm going Kittle over Kelsey. Both, of course, are going to be studs. Giants versus Cowboys. This is my Super Bowl. I have to watch the game every year. I wish AJ would return to form.
Yeah, he was fun to watch, man. He was a beast.
Dude, but Mixon's going to be a beast. I think the coach was talking about how he looks great in camp. He's
Go Tigers.
he realized the more he gave the ball to him, better that he got. The guy can catch the ball. He can run the ball. Someone has to do something there, and they got a rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
right.
That's what we're talking about there.
So,
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, which was a rookie quarterback a lot of times like to do. Not down the pass.
Yeah.
They got a running back and catch the ball. Love Mixon.
I don't believe Kittle's hurt. I just watched the
I've
thing
heard-
today. I haven't heard anything about Kittle being hurt. He wasn't listed.
Yeah, I don't think Kittle's hurt.
Joe Burrow, I loved him in college. I think he's phenomenal. But on that team in LSU, I think you and I could have went out there and thrown 20, 25 touchdowns. That whole team got drafted, and everybody was good. And he played for Ohio State, and he didn't make the team hardly. So I'm not sure if he's going to go to the NFL and be a big star like he was at LSU. I hope so. The kid seems like he's a great kid, and I hope he does well. But
I'm staying away from a rookie
I
quarterback
just don't think.
anyways.
Not even drafted this year. I just mean overall as a player. I'm not sure if he's going to make it. I hope he does.
Well,
In a way, he's in similar
considering
position, so-
that where he went in their history, you'll get an Andy Dalton.
Or coming from LSU, Jason Campbell and Armstead. I don't know. I hope he does well though. Seems like a great kid. So
But what do you
wish him the best.
Who's the rookie quarterback this year that not necessarily fantasy, but you just think
Justin Herbert for the Chargers. He's the guy I think down the road. He's going to a good team. If he can stay there, I think he's going to do really well.
I'm hoping Tua.
Tua?
I like Tua.
I just don't
Granted,
know.
I'm an Alabama fan.
I just don't think he's going to sort of that running style that scares me a little bit. He depends on his legs a lot.
Kyle Murray did do well as a rookie. I would take a look at Kyle Murray. I would draft Kyle Murray to play week 1. Again, I will only take one quarterback. But I would feel comfortable drafting him as long as it was late enough. Play him and see what he got way before I would ever take a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, and he has legs. Running in the NFL is like a cheat code for fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
There you get more points for it. So I'm all for Kyle Murray, taking a look at him. Tua had 3 tough defenses. 6. Every college football team had 3 tough defenses.
No, he's
3.
talking it right now, apparently, I think.
Oh.
The Bills and the Patriots and the...
Patriots, I don't think that Patriots D will not be great this year. A, they played crappy teams. 2, they're hurt or sitting out because of coronavirus.
Yeah, Hightower's sitting out. Their star players is up.
The Patriots also looked like a good game manager. Tom Brady, he's a good quarterback, but his style, just like Murray's a running kind of quarterback, Tom Brady's style is a game manager.
Yeah, he slowed the clock down.
He slowed the clock
controlled
down,
the game.
which gives your defense time to rest and makes them play better. There's no knock on Tom Brady. It's a great style to play. In fact, it's probably one of the smarter styles to play.
That's why they still act so good at 42, 43 years old.
Absolutely. You don't have to be a running quarterback. The only guy who's going to make it 42, the gunslinger ain't going to make it as a quarterback at 42. The running back's not going to make it at 42. It is the smart clock manager that's going to make it. And that's one reason their defense was so good. I mean, when the Cowboys did have it look like a good defense, it was because Cowboys also ran the ball so much, giving them rest. That like 1 year.
Secondary's going to be there. The front 7 is the question of the Bills and Dunkin' Donuts grabbing a cashier. See that. So I think we'll see for certain this year is Belichick the master or was Tom Brady the master? See who does the best this year. Brady going to take the Buccaneers far or the Patriots going to go far without Brady?
I think that's fair to say because it's not like the Patriots don't have a good quarterback.
Yeah.
They got Cam Newton.
Yeah. And Stidham. Everybody thought he was going to be second coming of Brady.
So I'm not saying Cam Newton's a Brady by any means, but he's not a bad quarterback by any means. Definitely a different style quarterback, but dude,
But Belichick won with nobody's quarterback when Brady
when Brady went out, you got Jimmy G making a ton of money now because they did it with him.
Jimmy G, look in the past years ago.
Yeah.
The guy went to the Chiefs and made all that money. He played 2 games without Brady. So, is Belichick the master or not? We'll find out.
I also like Ridley, Falcons. Calvin Ridley. I think he's going later in the drafts, mid-round. This could be the year that we see him do as good or maybe surpass Julio.
Passing the torch, maybe?
I could see him maybe not have as many yards, but more touchdowns, which could get him actually more fantasy points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year, I spoke earlier about Julio Jones cannot last year.
I believe the D proves Bills to the good there. And there's Jimmy. It's good. Good point. Tom is going to do good too, though. It's going to make. I'm thinking Tom. I think they're both actually going to still do good. I mean, the Patriots still don't have tough teams. It's not like Bill Belichick has, go against the Chiefs twice a year. I think both sides will still do good. I think Brady's going to be a top 5 play fantasy quarterback this year.
Very well there.
In fact, I think if I were to rank quarterbacks right now, draft-wise, would take Mahomes first. Lamar Jackson second. I would take Dak Prescott third because of the weapons in D. And I would take Tom Brady fourth. Especially where Tom Brady's been going in draft. I've seen Tom Brady not drafted.
Absolutely.
You can get Tom Brady in the very last pick.
I took him real late.
People aren't drafting Tom Brady.
Nope.
Because last year he finished the 12th best quarterback in the league. And he's going to, and a lot of people are going, oh, he's going to a worse team. No one wants to draft the 12th best quarterback. But I love where he's going. Now, guys, that doesn't mean because I like Tom Brady and I rank him number 4, doesn't mean go pick him up in the 6th round. He's going in like the 13th or 16th round. I'm saying keep your eye for him, draft him there. If he's going in the 16th, I'm all right with you grabbing him actually in the 13th or in the 11th. But don't go pay a first, second, or third for Tom Brady because I said, oh, he's going to be the 4th best quarterback. It doesn't matter where you take him because of who are you passing up. I mean, think about all the people that took Mahomes. I was in a draft. Mahomes went in the first round. Tom Brady actually went in the first round. Lamar Jackson went in the first round. And another quarterback went in the first round. It was insane because it wasn't a 2-quarterback league or anything.
Right.
You couldn't put a quarterback in the flex. Who did they pass up? I drafted in the 9th position. I got Zeke.
He's gone 3rd or 4th
Elliott.
in every league that I was in.
In every league, he's going anywhere from 2nd to 4th pick. Zeke's coming off the board. I got him with the 9th pick.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like a dream. You're sitting in that spot and you're licking your chops.
I was like celebrating, like what just, because I was pissed. I got the 9th pick and I was like, damn it, I'm not going to get a stud running back. And I was already thinking, okay, I'm going to have to go maybe receiver, stud receiver, maybe then a running back after that.
Mix up somebody like that.
Yeah, maybe receiver, tight end. And then when he dropped, I went, fantasy gods have smiled on me today.
Like that. How about Deshaun Watson? We talked about him earlier. His weapons scare me. I'm not sure who he's going to throw to. Texans Super Bowl? Be nice. I don't see them beating a lot of teams in the AFC, though.
No. I mean, I would still put Watson in that middle quarterback for fantasy because of his talent.
Hopkins was still there, much higher.
Oh, I would
Much higher.
If Hopkins was still there, I would put him over Tom Brady. I'd put him over Dak Prescott. But he doesn't have anybody to throw to. I mean, I would consider Watson maybe next, or maybe Seattle's quarterback. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he's going to score a lot of points.
Russell Wilson. I would put Russell Wilson still before Watson. He's a mid-round guy. I mean, he still, don't get me wrong, because of his talent, because of his running ability, he's still going to be good for fantasy. But I see him finishing 6th to 9th this year. Do you agree with that?
I like your thinking, Jason. Steelers Super Bowl? I wish we get that 7th ring. But that's going to be a long, long road for the Steelers.
I'm Brian. I'm always brain farting on names. That's why he's here. He actually has a photographic memory.
I used to. I'm getting older.
Hit
Hit a milestone age this year, so yeah, I'm over the hill.
Oh, he keeps the names coming. I keep the numbers. He keeps the words.
There you go.
Just messing with.
So, people are on here. Who are your Super Bowl picks? Who do you think's going to the bowl this year? How about you? Who do you think? Good at pick right now.
Dude, I usually really good.
We usually talk about it way before
I'm usually really, really good at this.
Usually one of us get one of the teams.
Yes, but man, there's so little information.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, I can't say them. I want to say the Cowboys just because.
Well, my train brother talk all the time. We always pick the Steelers. We're like, who's going Super Bowl first? Steelers versus who? We always start off that way.
Man, the Cowboys' offense looks stellar. The defense, they've made some really good moves, but history tells me they'll let me down. see the
Texans
Chiefs.
and Lions. Chiefs and Saints.
I can see Chiefs
Good
going
pick,
back.
John.
I can see Saints.
Chargers.
That could be Chargers. Could be sneaky.
Absolutely.
Never know.
I love that rookie quarterback.
I actually kind of like Indy this year.
Not Steelers, Chiefs. I think it's going to be. I said this earlier in my training. It's not the Steelers, which I'd love to see, but it's not going to happen. I think it's going to be the Chiefs and the Bucks.
I could see the Bucks.
I just see that happening.
I can see the Bucks. Yeah. No, you know what? I take that back. Bucks. I think are going to have a phenomenal year for fantasy. I think they're still going to finish the middle of the road because of their defense.
Yeah,
But the Colts actually have a pretty good defense.
they do.
They got a stellar offensive line, a quarterback, a receiver. They have all the pieces to make a good run.
Indy versus the Seahawks.
Chief, go tell Mama.
Indy versus the Seahawks. Yeah, Philip Rivers is no slouch for quarterback, and he's got a heck of a core there.
Yeah, that's what's funny. It's like Philip Rivers is a prime example of why I would never draft a quarterback in the first 3 rounds. Philip Rivers has been a stud year after year after year, and half the time you can pick him up off the waiver wire, play him this week. Same thing with Matt Stafford.
I picked Ben Roethlisberger.
Ben
late,
Roethlisberger?
or off the waiver wire. He scores 40 points in
Yeah,
in fantasy.
Absolutely.
Week in, week out sometimes.
When you got people out there, like last year, people picked Mahomes number 1 in the first round. Mahomes finished number 7 in fantasy, and I'm over here in some leagues playing Matt Stafford this week. Now I'm going to play Big Ben over here.
Yep.
Now I'll play Philip Rivers because he's playing, the Dolphins this week, so I'm going to play him this week. And if you add my quarterback points up, they crushed Mahomes points.
Oh, yeah.
Because you add them, it's week by week. You play that quarterback that week.
Green Bay versus Chargers.
What do you think Green Bay's going to do this?
It's going to be surprising. I don't think they're going to be all that dominating, honestly.
I don't think they're going to be that great. Aaron Rodgers seems to be already slouching.
I see their backup quarterback who they drafted. Surprisingly, in the first round, they're saying he is having a horrible camp. Jordan Love.
Yeah. I don't.
Horrible camp.
They don't trust the running back, which is dumb.
I agree.
I don't.
And they drafted a running back. A lot of people thought we'd go to a different team and be a starter, so I'm not sure why they did that. Hey, Dylan?
Yeah, I did. So I don't. I'm not seeing. Hopefully for my Cowboys, too, since they're kind of our arch enemy, not the Texans.
Yeah, I see the Saints going far. If they do sign Kamara quick, I think they're going to do that because they want to win Super Bowl this year and win another one for Breeze. I don't think Breeze is going to stick around. I agree, John Smith. Devin Bush is fun to watch. That was a great pickup for the Steelers last year when they drafted him.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to start these streams every Tuesday,
Yep.
same time. We're doing Tuesdays because Tuesday night is when you have to set for waiver wire.
Correct.
So we can talk, everyone can talk out their waiver wires. Should you not? For who should you pick up? We can also talk some stardoms, sit-ems for that week. We can talk about what defenses to pick up for that week as well. Tight ends, quarterbacks. So every Tuesday. But before we go, we have 2 pops here.
Or Clarissa's still lost. Did you gain anything from this, Clarissa? Any kind of help?
All right, Clarissa, I'm going to give you a cheat code. Number 1 pick. Draft me. You win. All right, I got 2 pops here. Show these off. We got Amari Cooper. Of course, one of my personal favorites. But really exciting player to watch. I would rank number 1 quarterback for fantasy. Not going to ever get him on my team because you'd have to draft him way too early. But Mahomes.
I know this pop is going crazy everywhere else because I'm big into sports cards and memorabilia. We're going to start doing football card breaks actually live. And I know that pop is going crazy everywhere. So good luck if you pick and win that one.
All right, so I think we should ask a question Maybe on something that we talked about tonight. The first person that answers it gets to pick if they want the Amari Cooper or Patrick Mahomes.
Sure.
You got a question maybe you can think of that we can ask them? James Yates said he'd take the Mahomes. Jason says draft me, draft Joe. Draft Dez Bryant.
Yes. Terrell Owens, actually.
Terrell Owens, great pick. Dan Marino, phenomenal quarterback pick.
Got a question? Something we discussed earlier?
We can do one that way. Just something we discussed. Who did I rank?
Don't ask anything Steelers. What number did Mike Whit? No.
Maybe one of the rankings, how we ranked, or what's one of the late round picks that we said we're looking at? What is someone that we brought up? One of us likes in the later rounds, draft wise. See if anybody can remember any of the names. No, not Bell. Do not like Bell this year. Horrible offensive line, no quarterback, no receivers. Everyone's stacking the box. I'm saying you didn't like Bell either. Tom Brady. There we go. Right, Tom Brady. Kyle, first person who said it.
Everybody's loaded up with brains.
Hold on, I want to make sure I got the first person who said it. James Yates.
No.
Right?
Cooper Kupp right there. Mark Schenk.
But Mark Schenk did say Cooper Kupp before you. That's right. And the first answer was Brian said Bell. Mark Schenk was the first person to say an actual correct answer, which Cooper Kupp. He is going later on, that I think is underrated. Mark, do me a favor. Send us your address. But before we get off here, please do me a favor. That's Mark Schenk.
Who do you want?
Do you want the Patrick Mahomes?
Some cowboy loser. Or Amari Cooper.
Or Amari Cooper from America's team? Just remember, if you're American, you root for America's team, which means you have to take the Cooper. So, are you American or are you a terrorist? Which one?
Smart man.
He's a terrorist. He needs to pick America's team.
Bit of football knowledge. I'm sure if anybody is a football history buff or been following football, the Steelers actually were the first team to be offered the America's team name, and the owner, the chief, Art Rooney, passed on it, saying the Steelers don't need any fancy name or team like that stuff. They just want to win. So they passed on the America's team. They went to the second best team, the Cowboys.
This is true, and then
they took it.
Jerry Jones was smart enough to go, because he's a businessman, horrible GM, phenomenal businessman, and went, I can make a ton of money off of this, and now owns the most valuable franchise in any sports.
That's true.
Mark, thank you. Send us your address. I'll get this shipped out. I'll try to get it shipped out to you tomorrow. So please send me your address to the page. I appreciate you guys all joining us tonight. I had a lot of fun.
I wanted that pup. We have another one, I think, to raffle off, don't we? Are we getting more?
Well, we're going to give one away during Tuesday. If you want a chance to win it, go.
Thank you, John.
We have another one of these given away. You go onto the page, like, share, comment. Just find the post, like, share, comment. Each one gets you an entry, and for every person you tag, will also get you an entry. We will pick someone random next Tuesday, so someone else will win a Patrick Mahomes pop next Tuesday. It really is a good pick, because if anything's going to go up in value-wise, pop-wise, it's going to be the Patrick Mahomes.
This thing's already selling like crazy now. Like I said, I follow that stuff like crazy, and Mahomes is going mad high right now.
All right.
Congratulations, Mark.
All right, guys, and I guess we will see you next Tuesday, 8:30 Central p.m.
Good luck, guys. It's all on our draft on Friday. We'll talk to you then.
If you have any questions between now and then, do need help, don't hesitate to message us on Facebook. We're happy to answer any questions during your draft. Thank you, guys.
Good night, guys.